Um, Today, and there's George. Today we are going to go over our high note. So what we're trying to do is just give you guys some just kind of some visuals and some pointers about what we're doing and some of our marketing and things like that. And then let you guys obviously go recreate it however you need best. For example, I see Ruth is on here, and I'm sure hers will all be pink, right? Like everything she's going to create on her high note will be pink. Just take ours and learn from it, and we'll go from there. So just so you guys know too, I don't know if you've noticed, our Tuesday trainings are going to, there's our pink hearts. Our Tuesday trainings are going to be now twice a month, and we try to keep in about 30 minutes. So we want to just really be intentional with what we're sharing with you guys, but yet we'll leave some time to go over some stuff too. So I want to make this collaborative as we go. George, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Okay. Nope. All right. So today we're going to talk about high note. And I don't know how you want to flow this, George, but one thing I do want to show you guys, and I like to just really visually show you guys some things. Don't worry about what I typed here, but what I do want to show you is in our email, we have a little link that we had Liv add to our email signature, and it basically goes straight to our high note. So anybody that's looking in here, if you guys have ever had an email, for example, you guys should be able to go in and find a copy of this here. You can see right there, it goes to high note. Um, so with that said, should we go right into it? Let's do it. Let me pull it up. And then, do you guys know what high note is? No? Does anybody know what high note is? Like, put in the chat a yes. There you go. Krista knows what it is. Anybody else know what it is? I'm going to assume no, otherwise. Jody, yes. Christian Alvarez, yeah. Christian sends our link out all the time. Thanks, Christian. Julia, no, you're just learning. Okay, cool. All right, so let me share our high note. Okay, so this is what our high note looks like. And so if you guys go to, what is the link here? Highnote.io. I'll drop the link in here, but we are working as a team to try to see if we can get some discounts. I don't know how much it costs. I want to say it's maybe $10 to $15 a month. And basically, what it is back in the old days when we were talking to sellers, we would send them an email with all these attachments. And it was like, here's this about me, here's that about me. And it was just all this information and hyperlinks in the emails and stuff attached to the email and all that stuff. And so, what HighNote does is it gives you one link that you can then send out to your client. And then when they open the link, this is what they get. And of course, you have to build this out, but it has all this stuff in here that we're going to go through. And it's a lot easier to, A, for us to send that out, and B, for a seller to just have one place to see everything. It's totally customizable. And the other thing is you can track it. So you can have links for each person if you want. You don't have to. Like the one that I have on my email signature just says email signature. So I know when someone goes there and clicks on it. But let's just say George was my seller that I was talking to. I'd have a specific link that I would create for that seller in HighNote. I'd send it and I'd know how many times they opened it, and I'd know which of these modules they were opening. And so I could see what they're looking at, maybe even before I go on a listing appointment, of what's important to them. So if they start clicking on the CMA and the comps over and over and over, I'm going to know that that's something that we really want to speak more on, or if they start looking at the marketing or whatever it is. So it's a really cool tool for you guys. Another quick question is how many people on here are using HighNote right now and have that set up? And for some reason, I lost my chat. Hold on, let's see. Is anybody using HighNote? You guys can speak too. Chat or speak. Let's all hang. Jody's using it. I tried it for a couple. I used for an offer. Yeah, you can use it for offers too. Okay, couple people. All right, cool. So George, do you want to speak a little bit on this? And I'll kind of scroll it.
Yeah, this is good also for after a listing appointment. So after you leave the listing appointment, you can say, hey, we're going to send you the link. Like, say it was on the fly listing appointment where they called you and said, hey, can you meet? Because when you meet with them in person, it's a lot to go over, like step by step. And this is a good reference point back and say, I'm going to show you all our marketing. I'm going to show you in like our presentation, but this is a good piece to go back to so you guys can really hone in on the different aspects of what we offer. Um, yeah, I think it's really good for our bios. It's good for can you scroll down? I can't control that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so like our listing videos or social post or keep scrolling, please.
We'll show
Uh,
the whole thing to you guys, then maybe go back into it. Yeah.
Yeah, so like our listing roadmap, that's actually one that has been really popular in our listing appointments because everybody wants to know if they're a first time home seller is okay, what is the process from start to finish? Is it just photos, get my house on the market, and then figure it out? And then so we have outlined this from, prep stage, coming soon, going live, accepted offer. Um, and then even in accepted offer, we have a breakdown that goes through the whole escrow process as well. So there's more to that, not just send counters, accept offer, open escrow. There's a whole different escrow package for that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's a good marketing piece that shows you're up with technology, and most people are on their computers a lot, so good reference points.
Yeah, so I'll scroll through and just kind of show you guys some of this stuff here, and then we can take a little bit of a closer look into it. Um, but basically, for any of you guys that were on the previous training that we did, we showed our listing slides. So when we go to a listing appointment, we have our iPad and we'll get out our listing slides. And so whenever we update something, most of the time what we'll do is we'll update this and then we'll update our listing slides. So it's very conducive with each other for the most part. There's going to be some things in the listing slides that's in a little more depth and detail, but we really try to make sure that each one stays conducive with each other. So we start with hey, here's a little bit about myself, here's a little bit about George, and anytime you can click on these and then it'll go into more information. Or the other thing is it can go into a link. So like for example, let's see here. So you can watch a video. So we have a video that's planted in here. And so you can click on any of these and it goes directly into whatever you want it to be. Our seller guide is in here. And so they can scroll through and see all of that stuff. And there's George's old photo. We have it updated now, but I guess we have to update this. But they can scroll through here and see our guides. There is an option over here to download it if they want to take a look and just kind of look at it separately. And so, yeah, what we try to do is put all of these pieces of information in here that they can just in one pretty place scroll through and see that. Like you'll see in here customer reviews. One thing that sometimes asks is, hey, we need some contacts to just, if they want to reach out and just, ask for an opinion on how their experience went. We have our websites on here. Talk about our listing support team, which all of you guys have access to when you're on the team. And then different websites that we've built out and things like that. So, what questions do you guys have on this that maybe we can go through? Are there any specifics that you want us to show you for our high note?
I have a question. So I might have missed in the beginning. Is this something you sent prior to going to the listing appointment for them to review, or something you leave with them?
Yeah. So, George, you want to talk on that?
Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of both. Um, so sometimes before the listing appointment, like when Christian sets up our appointments, he'll send it out in a group text. We then follow up with an email with it in there as well. But like I said before, if it's on the fly, we'll send it as a follow up email after our appointment and just say, we went through all this in detail at your house. This is a good reference point back, review it. Let us know if you guys have any questions. But like Siri was saying at the beginning, it's kind of a good indicator, like to send it before, because you'll know by what they're opening what they're geared towards, whether it's the marketing, the comps. If it's comps, usually that means they're focused on price. If they're opening your bios, you might know that they're trying to find out a little bit more about you. So you might be in competition with somebody if they're peeping, your bios. Um, it's actually really good to make sure your bios are updated as well. And make it not so like I've been in the industry for blah, 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 blah. Put some personal stuff in there because you can connect with people. Like, for example, I went to Ohio State, right? It's a very good conversational piece because it's like, okay, so where are you from in Ohio? Um, I've had people that are like, I'm from Ohio originally because
A
California
lot
has a
of
lot of,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
California has a lot of expats. So it's like it's just making sure your bio is relatable. Um, Not just I've sold this many homes, hire me. I'm great.
Yeah,
But yeah,
people need proof. You got to back it up. And even if, let's just say, you're getting started, and let's just say you haven't done a lot of listings or you haven't done any listings, you can still create something like this with the benefit of being on the team, right? There's so much that you can add for the benefit of being on a team that you can grab our information and put it out there, which is what you should be doing. And so, really, whether you're seasoned or you're new, this is something that you guys, there shouldn't be an excuse or a reason of, hey, well, I'm new or anything like that. You guys should have this in place.
Is this
But
something
yeah,
that we have access to or something that like someone creates for us or?
yeah. So it's not anything that we create for you, or in other words, we don't have, so we are looking into like a team discount that maybe there's
Oh,
a
that's what
code
you're
or
saying.
something we
Yeah.
can give you. Jody, do you have it right now? You said?
Yes.
And how much do you pay? Do you remember? Because I don't remember. It's been a while. Do you know?
I think they charged me recently and I want to say it was like 189 or something for the year.
For the year?
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds about
Not
right.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
really inexpensive. Yeah. Here's the thing, in real estate, it's shiny object syndrome where we have so many different things. And
Mhm.
you'll be like, 189, no big deal. And then you never use it. And so I will say though, if it's 189 and we'll try to get you guys a discount, it's worth 189 and it's worth it for you guys to go in and create this and use it. And it's really user friendly. Like it's not that hard to it's basically, here, let me see if I can show you guys the back end. I think it's that. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. It's really user friendly though. You just kind of like drag and drop stuff in. Maybe it's .com actually. Nope. Anyways, you just drag and drop. Oh, there it is. IO. Let's see. Let's log in. Drag and drop stuff in. But to Gary's point, okay, so this is kind of the back end here, and we have like for buyers, you could use it like to add a buyer presentation. So like here's the thing, as a listing agent, I'll tell you if it gets too complicated for us, it may be a lot to sort out because like right now, George and I are just like treading water to try to go through all these offers on our listings. Great problem to have, but if it's too complicated, that could be an issue too. I would just consider how that looks for a buyer's agent. Make it simple if you're going to use this for a buyer's agent. But for sellers, you can have different folders to hold all of your information. And I don't think we have all of our presentations in here, but we even have it for like joining and for recruiting and things like that. But it's really easy. You can just go in and you can basically drag and drop. Gary, you use this, right? So, I mean, it's pretty easy. This is kind of the back end here. You can just type stuff in. You can, change, add it from your computer, and then you add some verbiage in here. And you just basically go through and add another one, add a divider. You just basically go through and create what you want to create in here, and then you save it. I know to some it's like simple enough, and to others it's like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work. Sometimes you have to do the hard work to make it work, right? Like you just have to make it work. Here, I'm going to stop sharing real fast because I want to get back to the other one. So hold on a second here. Yeah, so if that answers your question, I guess maybe 189 a year-ish. We'll try to get a discount. It's not something that we provide or help you guys per se create, but just by being on here, we're trying to show you guys. What I can say is I'm happy to send you guys the link to ours, and you can, which I'll do right now in the chat. And you guys are welcome to, let me send that in here. Take whatever you need in there from ours. And it is, you are able to download the material, and then you can add it and make it your own and things like that and play around with it. What other questions do you guys have on that?
Is it something you would have, I have all the questions this morning. Is it something you would have on your link tree for like people to just go through information?
Totally.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I love, Philly, is like think outside of the box of how the I mean, I love anything that you can extra market and have there, because Linktree is great because you have everything in one spot. Do you all know what Linktree is? Yeah.
Yes.
For all the people with cameras on, I can see your head nods. For people that there's no camera, I don't know, but mobile friendly too. Yeah. Yeah, it's mobile friendly too. That's a cool point there. Yeah, Linktree. Um, I mean, you can, like I said, we added it to our email signature. Um, I don't know. What other questions, Kelly? You got anything else? I mean, this is a pretty simple one that people should be doing. Yeah. Any other questions from you guys out there? Oh, Liv's here. Liv's the one that helps make things look a little pretty for us. She loves high note, not.
And it is my favorite.
I don't really have a question, but I was just thinking, well, while you were doing this, is it would, I don't know, this is just me thinking, like in your signature line, also, if you're working with buyers, you could have a high note that's not for
Mhm.
offers, but like videos that introduce yourself and I don't know, the buyer guide in there. It's real similar
Mhm.
to your listing one, but a buyer one as well. And then you can also see how much they're looking at each section, just like on the listing side. Kind of cool. So it sounds
Yeah.
like we got to step up our game on the buyer side for sure because of the
Yeah.
NAR thing.
Oh, for sure. That's a good point. I mean, I know this is about listing training, but we definitely need to be thinking about how we can look like the experts we are for the buy side.
Mhm.
And so I think that's a great plan. Liv, I have a question now that I have you on, not to put you on the spot, but like with the email signature, um, is that something they can do, or is that through you if they wanted to add a link, kind of like we have on the email signature? What does that look like?
Yeah. So we are slightly limited as to how many characters and links that we can have in the actual email signature itself. And like customization for each agent, because it's kind of like a blanket template for every for the whole team. So like I've set up that email signature block for you and George to have the little links on it. we could
I
add
think we had to
it.
take something off, didn't we? We had to make sure, like we took off something to make it work, but if
I
it's,
removed
yeah.
the app. Download the home app. Hold on, sorry, just a second.
Yeah, we had the like download the Real Scout app thing on there and we took that off so that we could add this link instead.
Yeah. And I deleted that actually from everybody's when we were having issues with the email signatures. I thought maybe it was an issue with the characters, but are you guys wanting, what are they wanting to do? Add a high note link or what?
Well, yeah, like if they wanted to add something like this for theirs, whether it's list by or maybe list by, because I know like on the TCs we can do 2 links. So maybe they have one for each. Is that
Okay.
possible?
Yeah, I can look into adding those buttons in there. I just have to see what happens if they don't have those links in
Okay.
there. Like if
Okay.
they don't
So
have a high note, then I don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just break this down. So let's just say Felly made one for a buy and one for a seller. And she said, "Hey, Liv, I have one for a buyer, one for a seller. Can you see about making the links like George and Siri?" And then send those to you. Can you see if you can create? I'm just hypothetically, because their brain's going to start working on how can we do this? And so you may not know the answer right now. I know we can add one, possibly two. I think you guys, that would be a great thing to work on. I love that idea, Gary, of buyers. That'd be a great thing to work on. And then would the answer be Liv? They'd go to you because I don't think they can do it on their own, right? They'd have to have you create them.
Yeah, the answer would be we'd have to create basically a separate email signature for people who
Okay.
have high notes that have a buyer and seller high note, and then we just have to move them into that group. Because if not everyone's doing it, then the buttons aren't
Got it. Okay.
list.
So a little work, but if you guys take the time to do those, we can help you guys with that. So, okay. I guess any other questions, or I just want to maybe open it up because we have about 7 minutes to George. Do you have anything else that you want to add, or maybe just listings in general? Like, what do you guys have any maybe rapid fire questions for us? Anything else on High Note? Let us know, or anything you want to add, George.
No, I think that's pretty much it for high note.
Yeah.
I have a
Do you guys have
question.
any? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. So I just was curious, sometimes when you go to listings, do you always use your iPad and do the slideshow? I mean, I know you probably bring it with you, but do you just wait to get a feel for how the tour is going and talking to the client, or do you recommend doing it every time?
Yeah, I'll answer that one.
Yeah.
It's on the flow. We don't use it all the time. So if you know it's like a person that's ready to list and they just want to show you the house, you get the details of the house, you write down your notes, and then you're like, okay, we're done. Like it's a shoe in. I would say the times that we do pull it out is if we know for sure we're competing against other agents and we need to separate ourselves, because I'll tell you, most agents aren't doing this. That's the feedback we're getting. That's when we would pull it out. I think you just got to flow it though. You have to flow of, if you know you're not competing and it's your past client, or if you know it's somebody that trusts you and you just want to show them like a brief overview of the process, then do it quickly. Like I'll tell you, even through our slideshow, sometimes we'll skip sections in there that we know don't apply to the house. So like buy before you sell, if they're not buying a house, doesn't really apply, right? Or if their house is already remodeled, the brand concierge doesn't really apply. So you can just skip through some of it and just say, this is in there. We bring everything to that. I'll tell you one thing that we've done that's helped us out quite a bit is we brought our past sales on our listing presentation for that immediate area to show that we're local experts, right? So instead of
And
bringing your
again,
past,
you guys can use team cells, right? Not just, I just want to emphasize you're like, oh, I don't have cells. Yes, you do. We have them. Yeah.
that's the whole point of being on a team, is to leverage.
Yeah.
So where we have found it, like, okay, a lot of people are like, oh, so are you the local expert in Arrowwood? Are you the local expert in Aviara? We bring those sales and we say, this is what we sold over the last 2 years. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I print them out. Yeah. We always have, so in the back of my car, I have like, it looks like, Christian, didn't you call it the diaper bag? when we saw you. We were doing open house training. He calls it the diaper bag. I have two diaper bags in my car. One's for open house and one's for listing appointments. And so I have all the folders all prepped. They're already prepped and ready, which you can grab in the office. But we do a little extra thing. I put like a Starbucks card in there and I write out, "Thank you for having us." And I have a list of our sales printed, just kind of all over the place for the last 2 years. So basically, like George and I, this was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it's a listing going live this week. We were out and about at listing appointments all day, and then we got a call from a lady that her uncle passed away the night before. She's like, "Can you come over and meet with us?" No problem. We ran over. We had our folder all ready to go. Got the listing, did our presentation. Now in that case, like Christina, we didn't have the slides ready, like fully ready. We didn't really need it then, but I had my folder already in the back of the car, ready to go. And so, cool, you have it all prepped. Make sure you guys have that for your buyers and your sellers. Buy a diaper bag, whatever it is, keep it in. You don't want to have it flying all over in the back of your car looking bad and crumpled up and stuff. And we just pull that stuff out. We do keep the iPad with us, and we have like a generic one if we have to, and we'll pull that out. But make sure you have your folders and everything ready to go for your buyers and sellers all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will piggyback off that a little bit. So like even the comps. So like say you're on the fly, and this goes for buyers or sellers. So if you're on the fly and like you get a phone call, "Hey, can you meet me at, 123 Banana Street? I'm going to do it as a buyer." Make sure that you have some sort of app on your phone that you can quickly access past sales in that area very quickly, because at least you can pull one or two or three and you're like, okay, well, the house across the street sold at 1.3 million. At least they know that you've done some prep work of, okay, this house, I'm showing this house, the last one sold at 1.3 across the street. Yeah, you don't need. And then what I always say is, look, let me dig into the details and get you guys a finer number. But at a quick glance, these are the comps that have sold. Now that we've seen the house, let me go dig in and give you a deeper price. And then that kind of alleviates the pressure of, oh, well, they didn't have any idea what the price of this house was. And it shows that you're willing to go the extra step of getting them finer details. And that goes for listings too. We'll walk in and I'll be like, "Hey, we pulled the comps, and one sold at 1.6, one sold at 1.8, one sold at 2 million. Now that we've seen the house, let us go back and dig even deeper. We'll get back to you in like 24 to 48 hours."
And so you guys know we usually use Zillow. Zillow's kind of our go-to to see what the comps are on the fly and stuff like that. If we have a little more time, we're going to go on the MLS and bring more things prepared. But Zillow is a good go-to. And I would say a lot of times we actually say, "Hey, we're going to see the house first, and we'll get back to you." And then we'll say, "By the way, what price do you have in mind?" And most of the time they tell us.
Yeah.
And then we go back and we put it all together.
Yeah, because to feedback off the pricing too, I always lead in with, look, we're going to have our number. You guys are going to have a number you're set on. Let's make sure we're in line. Or if you guys have a number that's higher than us, what can we do to get to that number, right? So what are the steps that we need to take as a collective group to get to that number? Yeah. Or we're not going to get there at all and your number's crazy. And then in 3 weeks, we'll talk about a price reduction, because you're going to have sellers that want to list at their price. But as long as you're set up from the beginning saying, "Hey, we're okay with listing at your price. In 3 weeks, we need you to agree to having a conversation with us if we have no activity on the house, if we've had no one come in, no showings, no feedback, or the feedback just continues to be the price, we're going to have a conversation. You guys are going to agree that we're going to have that tough conversation of reducing the price."
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to
I
add
think,
one more thing with Zillow, though. One more thing with Zillow. When you pull up the address and you don't give them the comps off the Zestimate. What you need to do is scroll to the bottom of the page, and it's going to show you nearby sold homes in the area. Sometimes they're going to be wanky and off, and it's not going to make any sense, but at least you can say, okay, beds, bath, square footage, somewhat in the vicinity of this house, right? Because if you just pull the Zestimate, they're going to know. Most people, that's what they follow. So they're going to say, if you give them a range of 1.5 to 1.7, and that's exactly what it says on their Zestimate, they're going to come at you and say, "You just looked at Zillow." But if you can say two houses down the street sold at 1.2 and 1.5. So this is where I'm coming up with the number. Then it seems like you actually did your homework.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a quick question regarding before you guys actually go into the house. So when you guys make the call, or probably Christian makes the call.
Oh, Christian's our man. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm just curious about like the script or what you guys would say, because when people request a home valuation, for example, and I'm like, and then I make an appointment to call them, I feel like personally I vomit so much information about like market stats and then like comps and then a value range. And then but then I say, of course, in order to get a better valuation of your home, I'd actually need to come and see it. So when's a good time, blah, blah, blah. And so then at that point, it's like, oh, well, it's too low. And of course, I also ask, like, what do you think your home is worth? Either too low or it's too expensive to sell a home or whatever, we just wanted to know how much it was worth. So I'm curious to know what you guys say to get your foot in the door.
I would say that, and George, you can speak on this too, but most of our calls, if it's Christian that's setting up an appointment for us, and Christian does a really great job of getting just enough information. And Christian, maybe you can speak on this part, but I think your question is more about when it gets over to us, right? Like once Christian sets it for us. Okay.
Or even how, like, yeah, exactly. Once, like, yeah, sorry. Because does
Well, we can
Christian
maybe
make an
have
appointment for you
Christian
to go
chat
into the car,
too.
into the home?
Yeah. No, typically his are just a phone conversation for us to then decide what our next steps are. So maybe Christian after George and I speak, if you have anything to add. But typically when Christian sets an appointment and then we get on a phone call, the phone calls aren't very long at all. And I don't give them too much information. It's really more about setting a rapport with them. And I'll say, so I see, and I'll read off some of the notes that Christian puts in there. So I see you bought the house in 2008. You have $400,000 in equity here. You're looking to do X. Yes. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about them personally. We'll try to humanize all of us, maybe, crack some jokes if they're that type of personality, or if they're very straightforward, we'll just go for it. And then what I always like to say is it's always good for us to just humanize each other and just do a quick visit for us to meet you, see the house. We'll make it really simple and easy on you. And then we can formulate a valuation. How does that sound? And typically they're like, that sounds great. I go, we won't be there long. Let's just come take a look. And how does whatever time we come up with? And George, I don't know if you have anything to add, but rarely do we go, and I'll say humanize. Yeah. Be like, we're humans here. We just need
Yeah.
to see each other.
And what I think we kind of like to preface is like, you don't need to get your house ready for us. We can see past all that. Don't do anything special for us. It's a non-obligation. Like we just want to come and meet you guys in person, and then kind of just go from there.
Yeah, say it's really hard for us to even give comps or an idea of the value without seeing it. Yeah, we can go on and like do what you could probably do on Zillow or Redfin or some of those sites, but that's really not giving you the right value there. So how about we just swing by for a few minutes and just give you guys a better opinion and humanize each other and meet. And they're like, that sounds good. I don't think I mean,
No, I
maybe,
think maybe once that they were like, no,
yeah,
we're not ready for that. But like, I would say 9 times out of 10, we get
I'd
something
say
on the books.
we're on the phone within 5-10 minutes, maybe.
Usually, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
And Christian,
15.
do you have anything to add? Like when you get them with the home valuations?
Yeah, usually what I do is I just try to get their story from the beginning because that's like the most important piece that I feel like usually they'll kind of open up once they start talking about, why they're moving, and different things like that. Then I get into like different things that they've done to their home as far as upgrades, what their payoff is on their home so that we can get them some good numbers if we need to, like for you guys over email or anything like that. But other than that, just really just trying to build that like rapport with them so that they can feel comfortable to be able to get to the next step with you guys.
Yeah, it's all pretty fluid and fast, Krista, if that helps. Try not to keep them on too much. Most people are going to fall off with too much information. The goal is to get in front of them face to face.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I've spoken to, people that I've had really nice rapport with, and then some people who are like super factual, and it's like, oh, you were
Yeah.
actually prepared. And it's like, but then some people
Yeah,
I prepare all this information and it's like, oh, we don't even touch upon that at all. We're just talking about
yeah.
the goals of what their plans are and stuff like
I
that. So
mean, I'll say a lot of the times, and take this as you want. George and I get on these calls and we're just like, we're running with the wind, and we're like, okay, so sometimes it's like 10 minutes before we're like, okay, so let's look at this stuff because it's coming in, and we'll just kind of educate ourselves as fast as we can. And then the goal is to just get in front of them. So we don't spend a whole lot of time on those pre-calls.
preparing.
It's more of preparing then to meet them. We do a little more
Okay.
then, and then yeah,
All right, cool.
yeah,
Thanks. Well, I'll give it another go. Thank you.
yeah. You're welcome. Okay. Oh, when do we send the net sheet? We don't typically send a net sheet before we meet unless they specifically ask for it. George, you have anything to add on that one? Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry, thought I was good. Yeah, we do it usually after the appointment because then you don't really want to send it before, because when sellers see numbers and commissions and everything in there before you can be in front of them, that's almost, you're setting yourself up for rejection, that if they don't like that number, they're
Yeah.
not even going to meet with you. So what we like to do is not give them any of that until we've had the conversation of commission, we've had the conversation of sales price, they're comfortable enough to give us their loan payoff if they have one. Typically I would say, after our presentation, we'll say the next steps are, we'll send you a net sheet to show you your estimated proceeds. Obviously that can change based on the market and when we're listing your house. But yes, it's usually after the listing appointment.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, don't overwhelm them at first. It's too much. They're already stressed just trying to figure out if they're going to sell their house or not. Just be an awesome human and help them and let them feel that. Okay, so we are 10 minutes over. I want to be super conscious. Thank you guys for staying and watching and hanging with us. Is there anything else that you guys would like for the next one? Any requests that you guys would like for us to go over? Or reach out to us if you guys think of something. We'll continue to break this down for you guys.
Thank you guys.
But yeah, cool. All right.
Cool.
Well, we're here to help you guys. If you guys have anything you need, just reach out. Krista, I see you doing a lot of listing stuff, so just reach out if you need us, all of you guys on stuff. So,
Thank
all
you so
right.
much.
See you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye.
See you, everybody. Bye.